Welcome to the City Show. Pat O'Melia here. You there? I'm here on GGR Radio, as I say every week. Download that Live 365 app. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your buddies. Put it on social media. I put it on all the tweets, X posts. I'll never call it X. It'll always be Twitter to me. You've got the download there. You scan the QR code, and boom, you're in business. You're listening to Live 365. You say GGR. Boom, GGR is here. What does GGR stand for? Good Government Radio. And I believe in good government. So download the app, please. And there's a lot more than just me on Live 365. A lot of music. There's a lot of podcasts. Yeah, it's funny. Everything's a podcast. I've been doing podcasts for 20-some-odd years. People talk about radio and television. It's just a show. It's the same thing we've been doing for years and years. 38 minutes, 59 minutes, 30-second shows, radio shows. But download it. What are we going to talk about today? Well, it's a loaded show. Normally, I start writing the show over the weekend. I start putting all my tidbits in my phone, things I want to discuss. And then on Monday, I start to sit down and write the show, and I like to finalize it on Tuesday because there's always some breaking news. Yesterday was my anniversary, so I didn't have a lot of time to sit down and write. It's 47 years I've been married. Didn't even realize it. We were so busy. We were out doing things, went to dinner. Then it's around 9:30 at night. I'm sitting there thinking, I got to get set for tomorrow. I'm like, oh, man, I forgot to write. So I had to blast through that. I pretty much got it. I don't need a lot. I can talk to a wall. I just need my bullet points. So we're going to talk about Mayor Fulop has actually chimed in on the election for the next mayor of Jersey City, his replacement. And it's interesting what he has said there. I want to talk about the latest polls for the governor's race. Trump. Yeah, it's hard to not report on Trump. And even though I do pretty much a local show, this guy is on television constantly. I mean, you turn on the tube, there is Trump. He's doing something. And I don't think he's getting a lot of credit. I think he's very positive. I said when he first won the election, I'll ride with the guy for a year. Let's see, I need him to be successful. We all need him to be successful. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Epstein folders, the Epstein list, or whatever the hell it is. I may have told you over the years before I got into the political and civics radio, I used to do wrestling. That's how I started in media back in the early 90s with the Wrestling Tonight radio show. And one of the people that I couldn't help but cover back then was Hulk Hogan. He was wrestling back then. He passed away. We're going to talk about an appointed board of education here in Jersey City, Turnpike project, left turns versus right turns. I'm looking at some statistics on that. And it's pretty interesting. And I want to go back. Hopefully, I do have the time. I want to talk about the demise of Central Avenue. And we only touched on it last week. But right now, we're going to break for commercial. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'll be right back.
RWJ Barnabas Health is healing, enhancing, and investing in Hudson County with its two newest locations, Hoboken and Exchange Place. Within walking distance or accessible by mass transit, our locations combine convenience with primary and specialty care, including cardiology, women's health, orthopedics, cancer care, and more. Let's be healthy together.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net.
We're back. Listening to City Show Radio here on GGR. I have some graduates here producing the show today. They were part of the program. They spent 2 years in the studio production program. I got Zoe and Jim Mary in here. Both of them are going to Montclair College, scholarships, and they're producing. So if there's some hiccups here and there, it's the first time these kids have been producing a full show on their own. So bear with them. As I was saying earlier, with Mayor Fulop, he has finally chimed in. He's been pretty quiet on this. I think Fulop is kind of taken off the month of July, and we'll see where he is starting in August. Today, he put out a tweet where actually he attacked some of these the candidates. He says right now, it looks like McGreevy will be the next mayor of Jersey City, Jim McGreevy, because he's talking about his vision for Jersey City, and it's not all like Jersey City bad. developers are bad, everybody's corrupt, nothing works right, it's too expensive in Jersey City. It was kind of like the spiel I talked about last week, where I said, maybe Fulop got the idea from me. Where I said, every candidate is just bad-mouthing the city. It's amazing that Steve Fulop was reelected as mayor twice. He's done his third term, got reelected twice. If the city is running so effing bad, how does this guy keep getting elected? It's not that, listen, nobody's going to be happy with everything in Jersey City. We're all from Jersey City. We're not all content with what happens. But for the most part, we really don't have major issues. Yes, there's an affordability problem, but there's an affordability problem everywhere. The cost of housing has gone up. I've said it many times that the house in Jersey City here, how's this thing worth $1.5 million? It's a nice house, my house there. But I look at it, I say, how is this possible? But that's Jersey City. We've gone through this renaissance. It is a destination city now, and people want to get here, and that drove up the property values. Same thing, my kids invested in property in Seaside Heights. That property went up like 5 times in value. Again, I look at it and say, how is this possible? But it has. And it's happened all over the state. So the affordability problem isn't just unique to Jersey City. The rents are high. The affordability, the price of the real estate is high, so the taxes are going to be high. And Fulop has done all he can. I tell you what, in the 12 years he's been mayor, he's done a pretty good job holding the line on property taxes. The biggest problem we have is school taxes. They got a school budget now of over $1 billion. How is that friggin' possible that it costs $1 billion? Like I said, the elementary school I went to, PS 23 on Broadway, it costs like $58 million a year to run. How is that possible? That's the problems we have in Jersey City. Some of it is out of the mayor's control. He's done what he could with transportation here. He's got the VIA. We don't have a subway. We rely on New Jersey Transit, and if you rely on New Jersey Transit for transportation, you'll be left wanting. You'll be left wanting for a long time. People complain about the path. The path it's a Swiss watch compared to New Jersey Transit. But every candidate, whether it's running for mayor or council, has done nothing but knock Jersey City on what has been accomplished here. Maybe you're not a big proponent of bike lanes. Who is a proponent of it? I know somebody who's against them. Yes, that would be me. Maybe you don't like Pompidou. Let's see how Pompidou works. Now, keep in mind, the 100,000 square feet, that doesn't have to always be at the French Museum, Pompidou. If Pompidou doesn't work out, Pompidou could be gone, and we could do something else in there. Probably rent it so we can get some money. I know some people, we could put the Department of Recreation there, we could put this department. No. Put something in there that makes money. You got $100,000 of space in a brand new building. If we're not going to Pompidou it, put something in there that we can get a good monthly rate out of. Fulop has got, look at the Renaissance on MLK. You got the annex there. You got the police department there. The parking authorities shouldn't, or parking enforcement shouldn't be there, but they are. Fulop with Bayfront, it'll be interesting. I hope to live to see Bayfront completed so I can see exactly how this is going to work. Why it's 35% affordable housing. I guess there's trade-offs. I'm not the mayor, so there's financial trade-offs. This thing's going to cost a fortune down there to build. It should be 100%. I think Fulop, what he has done in the city has been copied elsewhere. So to keep knocking Jersey City and accomplishments of a Fulop is asinine, because the city is obviously successful. We have other cities copying what Mayor Fulop has initiated here. And actually, he called out some of the candidates for not having courage. And they come out with talking points. I think O'Day, he kind of expressed his vision. And one of the problems we have, expressing your vision a year ago, people forgot that vision. We have to rehash through these visions again. But I can see why it looks like McGreevy, and believe me, McGreevy and Fulop, they ain't no friends there. They have, those two guys have issues. Is there forgiveness there between them? There may be forgiveness, but there's no forgetting. I would think of all the candidates, probably Fulop is closest to Bill O'Day. He's been with them from the get-go, from when he was a council person. And, of course, Joyce Waterman. If I'm looking at the race for mayor here right now, I'd say the big three is McGreevy, O'Day, and Solomon. You can flip McGreevy and O'Day into that one spot in 1A. And Solomon is certainly a solid 2 or 3. And then it just fills out from there with Joyce Waterman and Nasab Ali. But I really, when they all come, unless Joyce makes a real big finishing kick here, she puts on her sneakers and gets out there and really hits the campaign trail. I see those three as the big three, and I think Fulop is looking at it, seeing what the visions are and what the platforms are, and what all these comments. He's probably reading the same comments I am. Like, what did I do wrong here? Why do they keep knocking me here? The city's running pretty well. He can, Fulop is keeping a lot of balls in the air. Hopefully, when the next mayor comes in there, they can do a quick exchange while those balls are in the air, and the juggling can continue. But I firmly believe that when those balls hit the desk in City Hall, things may get ugly there. Let's talk about the governor's race. I think it was the end of June or the beginning of July. A poll came out that had Mikey Sherrill up by like 22 points or 21 points. Now, another poll has just been released that shows Mikey Sherrill up by 8, which sounds pretty good, right? I'm up by 8 points. Now, when you think about that, you were up by 20-some-odd points a month or so ago. And if you remember, during the race for governor against Citarelli and Murphy the last time around, I think Murphy, up until like the last month or so or 3 weeks, he was also had those large leads in the polls. He was up by 18. He was up by 22 points. It was going to be a landslide, no competition. And Citarelli, I think he lost by about 3 points. And New Jersey, where there's over like 1 million more registered Democrats than Republicans, that's pretty good. I see this as being a very tight race. I see Citarelli closing that gap. But I think a lot, and they were talking about it on the major news programs, and in this poll, actually, when the poll question centered on local issues, the 1099 workers, school funding, safety, public safety, police enforcement, those kind of things. Citarelli did really well. Actually, he closed that gap. When it got into the national issues, that's where Sherrill pulled away on him, and the national issue being Trump. And I don't think Trump gets a lot of credit. There's just a lot of Trump, what do they call it, Trump derangement syndrome? I think that's a true thing. But I'm going to get into it as we go into the show. Trump is on the roll. I think if getting into November, if the economy is strong, and it looks like this economy is making a turn, the stock market is up, it's up record highs, grocery prices are coming down. I've personally seen the price of eggs. A dozen eggs a few months ago was, back in 2024 was like $6 a dozen. Now it's down to jumbo eggs, by the way, down to $3.99 a dozen. Prices are coming down. Yesterday, the price of gas, I was down in Seaside Heights. Price of gas went up 10 cents a gallon overnight. I don't know what happened. I didn't hear anything about hurricanes. I didn't hear anything about any problem with the Middle East. Things are calm in the Middle East. How long that'll last remains to be seen. How long does any peace last in the Middle East? But Trump's got that under control there. He got himself in Thailand and Cambodia there. You got in there, they were shooting guns at each other. You got a ceasefire there. But getting back to the gas, I don't know what caused the jump. And it's not the summer mix. We would have done that summer mix back in like May or June. So I don't know what caused the 10 cent a gallon. It's a good thing up here when I'm in Jersey City, North Bergen, the price of gas up here is substantially cheaper than it is down in Toms River and Seaside Heights where the kids got the house down there. But like I said, I was actually going to take my little black car. It's a car I use for the commuting. That's why I got this little Chevy Evo. And I said, I'll fill it up. I was going to fill it up Sunday. And I didn't get to do it on Sunday. So I said, I'll do it Monday. Figure Monday rides by, it went up 10 cents a gallon. I said, damn. Now I got to ride down to the BJ's where I know I get cheaper fuel, and then I got to put my fuel additives. I'm not really saving any money, but I'm not sure whose fuel that is at BJ's. It's no name. So if I fill it up there, I put in some fuel additive in there, so make sure I got a good tank of gas there. You don't have good gas in your car, you don't take care of your car, the injectors, they keep the heads lubed on it. Bad gas could ruin your car over a long term. I prefer to use BP. When I'm up north here, I fill up at BP. For that matter, they got a deal. I got 10 cents off a gallon with BP, and somehow Amazon got involved, so now I'm getting like 20 cents off a gallon when I fill up at BP. So if you have a Prime membership, I would list your credit card with the Prime that you use at the BP, and you get like 10 cents off a gallon. Now, since I've completely gone off track here from the polls, getting back to Citarelli and Cheryl, if Citarelli can keep this campaign about kitchen table issues, things like I just spoke about, the school funding, affordability, 1099 workers, what the state's trying to do right now, and I got my butt bit on this a few years back, they want to do away with freelancers. I'm in television production and radio production. The whole industry is freelancers. You know, where most studios aren't 5 days, 7 day a week studios. Usually they go from project to project. You know, like Cinelease in Jersey City. Yeah, if somebody comes in with a movie, you know, J-Lo's got a movie going on. I think she might be filming in Jersey City right now. Is she? J-Lo down there? I think she is. Got to go down there one of these days and visit when J-Lo was filming. Then Cinelease is busy. If there's not a production in there, Cinelease is sitting idle. We're one of the few studios that 5 days a week, and we hope we don't work the weekends, but we have done that. We're one of the few that are here 5 days, 7 days a week. Definitely 5. Hopefully never 7, but we have done that before. And this whole industry is freelancers. We'll hire people. I need extra camera people. We hire extra camera people, editors, that sort of thing. And the state is doing away with that. But they're also doing away with my old industry, trucking, where we had owner-operators. You own your own truck. You were like, that was like the last of the cowboys. Owner-operators to drive over the road. Instead of having a horse, they had a truck. They were 1099. You know, your Lyft drivers, your Uber drivers, babysitters, dog walkers, everybody with these side hustles. Anybody working in a bar, waitress, that sort of thing. A lot of those jobs. Writers, you know, whatever the case. A lot of them are 1099. The state is trying to do away with that. California did that, and it blew up in their face. They had like 1,000 exemptions to it, so basically they accomplished nothing. Here in Jersey, they are trying to go full tilt to do away with 1099s. And I think almost 2 million people in New Jersey have some sort of a side hustle, some sort of a side gig, and it's important. And again, if we do away with that, everything goes up price-wise. You know, your Uber ride, that's going to be more. DoorDash guy, that's going to cost you more. You don't realize how much you interact with the freelancers, subcontractors, or as referred to now as 1099s. That's one of the things, if Jack gets involved in that. Another thing, locally here, I don't know how much he wants to concentrate on local issues, we got NJCU, the college. It is about to lose that identity within the next 2 years. It will be absorbed by Kane. I think Kane already put out a graphic. It would be Kane, Jersey City. Yeah, NJCU, I think 85%, we produce a show for them here on Wednesdays at 1 o'clock with President Andy Acebo. He hasn't done the show the last 2 weeks. Cynthia has. He's been busy. He's just been named the permanent president of NJCU. So I'll give him a break. He's busy for the last 2 weeks getting a permanent position. But how permanent is that if you're going to be a shotgun merger in the Kane University? Hopefully, if Jack Citarelli is successful and he listens, maybe he gives Andy Acebo the 2-3 years he could use to right the ship at NJCU. He has done a hell of a job in the 2 years. Their credit rating is favorable. Their ratings for the university itself are excellent. He's doing the job. We just got to give him the time. And they agreed to this shotgun merger, the state. We should have held off on that. We should have. All he needed was like $10 million. So it is a lot of money. $10 million, so hell of a lot of money. But when you're the state of New Jersey and your budget's $54 billion, $10 million is that, those coins in your pocket that's in the bottom, the corner of your pocket. That's what that is. The merger should be held off. Hopefully, Jack Citarelli. If he can stay with kitchen table issues, that you see moms and dads and husbands and wives are discussing over the kitchen table there how we're going to pay this bill. Look at the electric bills. I was listening to NJ 101.5 this morning. People were talking about electric bills last year that were not last year. A couple of months ago that were $200 a month. Now they're like $700 a month. And people are like, I realize I'm using air conditioning, but I used air conditioner last year too, and it wasn't $700 a month. The rates went up 20%. Then there's another 5%. And it really, in my opinion, I'm not big on wind and solar. I was against that whole idea about putting wind farms in the ocean and solar. At my kid's house, they got a ton of solar lights down there. And they're great when there's sun. Ain't no sun, ain't no light. Things get pretty dark down there. It's not a reliable source of energy. And when people are looking, New York is bringing back nuclear energy. nuclear reactors, not the big ones like the old days when we got compact ones, what they call pocket reactors. We should look into that and natural gas, and we won't have these issues. And even burning coal is a cleaner than it has been for years and years. All right, let's break for commercial before I ramble away here. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'll be right back.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
We're back. You're listening to the City Show here. Pat O'Neill, you're on GGR. All right, let's blow some heads up. Ready? Put your hands on your head. Keep your brain matter in. We're going to talk about President Trump. Boom! My brains just flew all over the place. Heads exploded. There is no denying the success that Trump had. Now, let me preface this. I have a history with Trump when he was the owner of the New Jersey General. So you couldn't help but have some involvement when he was running the team. And I recall his 4 years as president. I had money during those 4 years. So I would like to have money again instead of living hand to mouth here since his presidency and the 4 years of Biden. I need this guy to continue to be successful, and I believe has been quite successful. Like I said, the stock market's doing well. The tariffs, everybody was beating this guy on tariffs. What he's doing with tariffs is it's going to cause a recession. Looks like he's doing pretty good to me. He just cut a deal with the European Union, the EU. $1 trillion, $660 billion investment here, 15% tariffs going both ways. All sorts of investment. They're going to buy energy from us, military equipment, which they'll flip to the Ukrainians. Seems like a pretty good deal. He's got Japan in the new tariff deal. He just did the Philippines. The only holdout is Canada, who is smoking us right now with their air quality. We got the Canadian smoke down here from the wildfires. And China. And after the EU, that's the United States and the EU, that's the two biggest economies. So I guess China is going to fall in place, and I assume old Canada will fall in place also. But, they were talking about how his tariff ideas were going to be detrimental to the United States. That doesn't seem to be the case. The guy's on a roll. And look at the Middle East. I didn't think that was possible in the Middle East, that you can have peace for a week, let alone weeks. Again, that's tedious. I don't know how long that's going to stay there. But right now they got peace. He's working on getting food to the people of Gaza, even though the Israelis say the food is okay there. Well, we're going to do a food drop. They're going to open up some food centers there. Maybe have DoorDash go over there, make some deliveries, whatever the case is. This guy seems to be making things happen. And going back to Bill Clinton and James Carville, I almost said Tom Carville, and it's legendary now. It's the economy, stupid. And that was what Clinton, in my opinion, is probably, him and Reagan are probably the best presidents in my lifetime. And that's what made Clinton successful. He worked to get the deficit down. He worked to get the economy going. The old saying, the high tide lifts all boats. That's what President Clinton was good. President Clinton had some problems. They tried to impeach him. He had some issues in the White House there. He liked the ladies, so that got him in a bit of trouble. But if you look at how he ran the country, he did a damn good job. We're talking about Medicaid, where there's going to be a work component to it, where able-bodied people should volunteer or work somewhere, whatever the case is, 80 hours a month to get the Medicaid benefits, which if you've ever paid for your benefits or you've been an employer and you paid for your employer's employee benefits, you know how much they cost. For a while, and I'm on Medicare now. I finally reached the age. I'd be paying $900, $950 a month, where I'd have people paying like $10 a month with the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. There's something wrong with that when I'm paying $950 and this person's paying $10 a month. Yeah, I agree with that. But as I said in one of the shows, if this person is going to work 80 hours a week, I'd rather make sure it's the 80 hours in a week in a company where he can get his foot in the door for permanent employment. I would like to see these people work municipally. We can have them work at the DPWs. We can have them work in CPS, City Hall. We can have them at the MUAs where they can get experience. The employers, in this case, municipalities, or even the counties too, could get to know these people, and the county's always hiring. You'd be able to hire somebody. The city looks at this guy and says, "Oh, he's a pretty good worker." This gal says, "Let's hire him." The volunteering is all well and good, but I'd rather see them make a buck. I'd rather see them get their foot in the door in a real place. For that matter, heading up a corporate alliance here in North Bergen. We're going to concentrate on corporations, businesses west of Tunley Avenue, and working with the kids here in the North Bergen High School, and for the last 2 years. And when the summer came, these kids needed some jobs. So I got some kids helping out here in the studio now. They're producing this show. I was talking to a large company today, because I'm always begging for money with our not-for-profit. And I said, one of the things I want to do with this alliance, because I got the company to join our alliance, is during the summer, I'd like the kids in my program to be able to get some summer jobs. He goes, "Hey, Pat, you're going to do this thing. I'll tell you what, I can take 5, maybe 10 kids a summer." So, when can you start? I go, "Next summer we can do it." He goes, "Remind me." I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll be sure to remind you. When we get around to May next year, I'll be sending you a line of high school kids, because they're only over here in Secaucus. It won't be hard for these kids to get to." But that's one of the things. I'm talking to the bakery supply guy here on Dell. I'm talking about getting these kids we want to improve Dell Avenue and West Side Avenue and Patterson Plank Road. So, working with Nick Sacco here in North Bergen is pretty damn easy to get things accomplished. Same thing with Craig Guy countywide. We need something done countywide, we can get it done. But we'll improve the quality of life around these corporations, and in turn, it'll put some of my kids to work. So that's a good thing. Getting back to Trump, this guy, even we had the problems all through the last year or so with anti-Semitism. He's got Columbia University. I forget how much money Columbia University has agreed to pay, something like $500 million, and Harvard the same. I don't know where the money's at. I guess they go into the big kitty here in the United States. Maybe they should disperse some of that to these people that were discriminated against. But you got to, I know heads are exploding right now, but you have to admit Trump is on a roll. And getting back to Citarelli in November, if Trump continues to be on a roll, if this economy is good, if those eggs go from $3.99 for jumbo to $2.99 a dozen, I think it's going to be very favorable. And Mikey Sherrill, tough opponent, very formidable. And again, you got a lot of Democrats here. Both of them have a lot of good ideas. My concern with Mikey Sherrill, and we'll have to get a setup for interview. For that matter, I just texted her campaign manager today about possibly producing a date. We'll get debate. We'll get John Hines to moderate it and get my kids. It'll be sometime in September when we do it. We'll have the high school kids, and we're bringing in some colleges are coming in. We'll be part of the program and let the kids produce it. Nobody's produced more debates in the last 20 years than me. Lots of debates. We're getting into the debate season now. We got mayor races and council races in Hoboken, Jersey City. We'll get involved with that debate-wise. We got all the podiums. We got the flag. We got all that stuff. We got the ability to live broadcast and all that. So I sent a text out today to Vin Coppell, senator from Monmouth County. I think he's running Mikey Sherrill's campaign to see if they're interested in letting us to debate. I didn't hear back from him. Usually, which is odd, because usually Vinny gets right back to you. But these are the things, when you're looking at what Trump has accomplished, it is pretty impressive. I don't think he gets enough play with what are they calling legacy media now? The major media outlets, ABC, NBC, CBS. I don't think they're giving this guy enough credit. There might be a reason for that. Maybe CBS, they just did a big deal with Skynet, No, that's not Skydance. Skynet, that's the Terminators. We don't make any deals with the Terminator Network. That's where Colbert got fired, and Skydance looked at that and said, we're not losing $40 million a year. So Colbert has gone bye-bye. Maybe that's changing with a different management with some of these media outlets. But I don't think they're giving this guy. And listen, some people love Trump, some hate him. I have some issues with Trump, but I'm willing to ride out and see how this works out. But the important thing is I need Trump to be successful so the country is successful. I would like to be where I was in 2016, 2017, prior to the pandemic, prior to Biden. I don't know what was worse, in my opinion, the pandemic or Biden. Both of them didn't do me any favors. So hopefully we have a successful president. He keeps cutting these deals. Now, you got the thing with the Epstein. Let's talk about Epstein, then we'll break the commercial.
No one plans.
Okay, that's right. You jumped it. That's those glitches you're going to have. Let's talk about Epstein before we go to commercial. So pay attention when you're listening. The Epstein file. If they are released, if they're the list or a file, whatever it is, nobody's going to be happy with it. No matter what the government releases, nobody's going to be happy. They're going to say it's tainted, it's not full disclosure. Nobody will be happy. Now, one of the things they keep saying is if you were with Epstein, you're a bad person. That's not true. I know Bill Gates was with Epstein. Bill Clinton was on Epstein. There's something like, I think Gates or Clinton, one of the two were at the island like 28 times, that sort of thing. Now, as I grew up, I had a lot of friends. Still have a lot of friends. Not all these friends did good things with their lives. Some of them got jammed up. Some of them were on the other side of the law. Didn't make me a bad person because a friend that I know, a friend I had, committed some crime or maybe went into a life of crime. So trying to paint everybody with the same Epstein brush just isn't fair. But even if the government releases the file, nobody's going to believe the file. Now, Maxwell, it was Giselle Maxwell is her name. She's in prison right now from the Epstein situation. She has agreed to testify before Congress with conditions. With conditions. If the conditions aren't met, she'll plead the fifth, and she'll go back to the cell and rot away for the next 20 years or whatever it is. She's looking for clemency, which is a big word for pardon. You may have to give her a pardon. But then Trump has no problem pardoning people, so that's not an issue. You want her to talk, give the pardon, send it to Congress, and get it all out. Yeah, right there from the horses. You can't get Epstein to talk anymore. She knew what was going on. Let it all come out. Now, there's probably a lot of people in government, entertainment, in finance who don't want Maxwell to testify at all. I don't know if Trump is one of them. Supposedly, again, I don't live with Trump. I know what you know, really. My interactions was back with the generals back in the 80s. Want to understand, he spun Epstein out of his orbit because he was stealing personnel. He was poaching his employees. And that was it for him and Epstein. But they live in a different ratified era than we do, these rich people. They're flying on their private planes. They're going to islands and all that. Epstein was a bad guy. I always wondered why nobody ever charged the parents of these young girls that would go to the island, these supposedly underage girls. How the hell did the parents let this go on? Where was mom and dad when their 16-year-old daughter was being picked up on a private plane? How the hell are these parents not brought up on child endangerment? Well, we'll find out. I hope the government, Trump, agrees to a pardon for Maxwell to testify before Congress. Then this whole situation will be gone. I'm not even interested in the list or the files because nobody's going to believe anything that comes out of there. Let Maxwell testify, and we'll find out. Now, we will break for commercial. You're listening to the City Show. We'll be right back.
No one plans on heart disease, but everyone should have a plan for it. We help patients of all lifestyles and medical histories plan for healthy hearts. We offer convenient screenings without judgment, hundreds of preventive programs, and women's heart specialists. And we're the largest cardiac surgery program in New Jersey. Make plans for a healthy heart with RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
We're back. Listen to the City Show here on GGR. Like I said, don't forget, download the app. Download the Live 365 app. I'm setting up to start broadcasting on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. We're going to promote tourism in New Jersey. I'm hoping to do it this Friday. I got to fill out some more applications. I filled out the applications yesterday, but on my Adobe Acrobat, that processor, again, I'm not the technology guy when it comes to this stuff with Adobe. It only downloaded one page. There were 3 pages, so I got to fill that out again. So, again, download the app. You can listen to us on the boardwalk. I'm thinking of doing it from like 10 in the morning to 12. That's my goal, provided there isn't a lot of activity on the Franklin Street stage. For years and years, we did video shows, Shore Show, on the Franklin Street stage. This time I'll be doing the radio. I got to make sure I take my table. And I found that other stackable chair. It's in my office. Yeah, it was like invisible there. As soon as I'm looking, I got 2 stackable chairs that I stole from the Lowe's Theater, and I need that for the tapings. And I thought I had them in my garage, and I didn't have them there. So I come in here today. I seen one. I said, where the hell's the other one? Looking all, and this is a big studio. Looking around the removable walls and curtains, and I couldn't find it. I said, it must be in my garage, or it's probably in my office right in front of me, and I don't even see it. Sure enough, I get in my office right in front of me. I don't even see it. I'm not really even moved into that office. We got here, then I had the procedure on the heart, so I really got to move into my office. But yep, it's up there with a box on it. All right, let's finish up here with our buddy Trump so you can go to the ER and get your heads put back on. You know, the midterms come up next year. Somebody was saying today, or was it yesterday, on one of the news shows, that the New Jersey governor's race is really a prelude to the midterm elections. Trying to hold on. You know, it's not unusual. The president comes in and he takes the Congress and the Senate with them. That's happened before many times. You know, Obama had it. Biden had it for a while. Bush. It's another thing to do it when the midterms come on. After you've been the president for a couple of years, and your procedures and incentives and initiatives have been digested for 2 years, to hold on to the Congress and the Senate. And I think it hasn't been since 2002 that the president, the seated president, managed to hold on to the House of Representatives and the Senate. And that was with Bush. That was right after 9/11. We're flag-waving people back then. The highlight, you know, it's just awful what happened with 9/11, but it was amazing to watch. Everybody became very patriotic at that time. I think that's the last time any president went 4 years with control of the House of Representatives and the Senate. So you got the midterms coming up next year. Again, as I said earlier, if Trump is on a roll, if the economy is good, and really, it's the whole thing. The economy is doing well. It's a walk for the Republicans. If the economy is doing well, there's peace in the world. The price of eggs gets down to $2 a dozen. Got to do something about insurances, school funding, all that kind of stuff. All that has to be done. I agree that government is probably too big. We should cut out some departments. I'm going to talk about cutting out departments locally here. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. If the race for governor is a barometer to what will happen in the midterm elections, it will be interesting to see. But one of the things you got to make sure you get out and vote. I'm a get out and vote guy. I want to go to the voting booth. I want to go up to this 97-year-old person at the table who's never seen a tablet in their life, but they're working one now, and they take about 20 minutes to get me signed in. I want to do that. Then I want to go into that new voting booth that is super technology, and I got that 97-year-old guy over here. Between the two, they should not be together. I'll go in there, do my vote, put my big piece of paper in there, and I like to do it in person. I Recommend it to everybody. Now, if you like to do the vote by mail, it takes the fun out of it. I want to double park in front of Patterson Street if necessary. Go in there, run in, do my vote. Or park in front of the fire hydrant, I should say. And not get a ticket, because nobody's getting tickets during the election. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. If Trump is rolling well, see how those midterms work out. You're talking about pardon. You know what I'd like to see get pardoned? Going through my notes here. Bob Menendez Sr. You want to know where the bodies are buried in Washington? And in particular, Hudson County? Bob Sr. If I'm Trump, I'm going to bring in, on Tuesday, I'll bring in Maxwell from jail. I'll say, listen, you're going to testify in front of Congress? I'll give you the pardon. Next day, I'd have Bob in there. Say, listen, I'll give you the pardon. You write that book. I want to read this book on everything that ever happened in politics in the United States and Hudson County. Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster, Terry Boyala. Back in, I think I started Wrestling Tonight back in 1992, and we did a weekly show. We went from WEVD to NJR 1430 over to 1530, right? Yep, 1530, and then back to NJR. And we did that for quite a few years. My daughter Evelyn and my nephew Tony were the real wrestling experts. I was more of like the host of the show, and they handled all the calls. There was no way back then you could get away from covering the Hulkster. He was wrestling at that time. And as you know, he just passed on. He was ill for a while, and he's gone now. But I tell you, Hulkamania will never be gone. I think Kevin Nash, one of the guys, said that. Yeah, the Hulkster will always be there. As long as there's wrestling, there will be the Hulkster. And it almost must have been like how the Yankees were back in the 50s when they kept winning. It got so boring. And the Hulkster would win, he would win, and he'd win. Oh, brother, what are you going to do when Hulkamania runs over you? That sort of. And you had to cover it, but it became so boring to cover. I was like, give me Macho Man. Now, we were working with the WWF then. They would get us the wrestlers to interview. They'd give us like 50 tickets to the Meadowlands shows and bring all the listeners there. We'd sit outside the entrance in the back of the Meadowlands where the wrestlers entered, and you get to meet them. They were pretty good coming in. They were awake. They were excited for their show. They were interested in meeting the fans, so all the listeners and I would be outside. Met a lot of these guys back then. I'd have to tell them, I did the radio show with you. Like, hey, I have no idea who I am. I think I interviewed the Hulkster once, maybe twice. The interview that always stood out to me was Diamond Dallas Page, who was 3 hours late for an interview and tried to blame me, and actually said there was a time difference between Florida and New Jersey, that eventually he had to agree that he was the reason he was 3 hours late. And Ted DiBiase was an interview I'll never forget. If you remember Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, he was a bad guy. And we got him, they set him up to interview with me. And I want to talk about all the mean things he's done in the WWF, the backstabbing, the kid with the basketball. I'll give you $1,000 if you can dribble this basketball. The kid goes to dribble it, he kicks it away, the kid starts crying. Unbeknownst to me, about a week before I'm doing the interview with him, he became a born-again Christian. So there was like no pre-interview. So he's on the air with me, boom, boom, we're going. I'm trying to lead him into all these despicable things he did as the $1 Million Man in the ring. And he's not fighting. He's talking about God and how he's repentful, and I don't want to revisit the history. And I thought they were screwing me. I'm being set up here. So I'm like waiting for the commercial break. I'm going through this thing, repentive and all. And during the commercial break, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? What is, I think it was Nancy Wells who was the coordinator. She's put you up to this? Are you serious? No. I've changed my ways. I'm not the man he used to be. So I need the man he used to be for about another 10 minutes. That didn't work out well. But most of these guys were good. The Hulkster, I tell you what, as much as there was a lot of intrigue in the locker rooms, supposedly with the Hulkster, and you've seen Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash pretty much tells you how it is, that very respectful. Most of the wrestlers all respected. Some people were jealous of his popularity. And no matter how, I just seen something also on, I think it was A&E, The 9 Lives of Hulk Hogan. This guy had some missteps. But again, being a Hulkster, he was always able to overcome it. Well, we lost him. The kid, Jamal Warner, I didn't know he was a Jersey City kid from the Cosby Show. He drowned recently, 54 years old. Condolences to the family. Same thing with the Hoax's family. And Ozzy Osbourne, he passed away also. Interesting guy. You know, bit the head off bats and chickens and all that sort of stuff. I think he straightened out a bit when he got into his 70s. He seemed to be a different person. I never seen the show with the Osbournes, but supposedly my wife did. She said it was a great reality show. Oh, it's awful that all three of these guys died. The young kid, that one kid, young, 54 years old. It's a real shame. Also, it'd be remiss if I didn't mention the shooting that occurred yesterday in New York, where a guy from Vegas went out of his way to drive from Vegas with looks like an AK-47 in his car. Double park his car, which is what you do in New York. I would draw no attention. He gets out and he walks with this gun on his side into the building on 33rd, I think it's 51st Street, where the NFL offices are. And he had a problem with the NFL. He believed he was suffering from CTE, the concussion situation with NFL players. This guy never played in the NFL. And killed a lot of people. So the condolences to the police officer that was killed, who was doing an off-duty security job. And I believe it's another 4 other people that were murdered, at last I read, and a lot of people injured. Condolences. Raj, my man Raj, we talked about this last week. Raj McCurkey, our state senator, he backed down on legislation to go ahead with an appointed board. And like everybody's coming out of the woodwork now saying, a terrible thing would be an appointed board. No, an appointed board would be good. Look at what the hell is being offered from the Board of Education. They are killing you on your tax bills. $1 billion plus, and there's no end in sight. The city has no say or sway with this Board of Ed. We got nothing. They just keep raising your taxes, and the city's got to collect the bill. And if you get that bill, a lot of people don't look at it that closely and say, that's the damn Board of Education. They say it's the damn mayor, the damn city. It's not the case. A lot of your tax bill is the Jersey City Board of Ed. And the damn thing that mayor can do about it. He can make a phone call, but they just blow him off. Appointed board? Yes. You know, I don't even know if I need a Board of Education. I see the federal government doing away with the Department of Education and let the states handle it on their own. Do I really need a Board of Education with all the expense that goes along with that? Can't I make that just another department in City Hall? If we have to have trustees, fine. We'll have appointed trustees. Because I know the election's up, and, of course, the union's got their ticket, and the union will probably win again, and you will probably lose because they'll keep raising your taxes with no end in sight. So, yeah, I'm all in favor of an appointed board. I'm in favor of a board that the City Hall has some say and sway in. That's important. Right now, nothing. They just get the bill and say, here, collect this for us. Left turns versus right turns. I know I spoke about this, the thickness of the A-pillar of your cars. The A-pillar is where the windshield and the driver's side door meet. And with crumble zones and the cars being a lot smaller now, those A-pillars are super wide. And when you're making a turn on a left turn, and you're driving into that crosswalk, you know, you can. Right now, I can hide Zully's head behind my thumb, but as I move that closer, I see her head. See, that's what happens when you're making that left turn. If somebody's in that crosswalk, they get lost in that A-pillar as you're making that left turn until you're almost on top of them. Then they finally appear from there. That's the danger of a left-hand turn. But I was amazed at the percentages of pedestrian accidents from a left turn to a right on red. I mean, it's enormously different. It's like 5 times worse with a left turn than a right, because we're running around Jersey City doing away with right on reds. I'm never really in that much of a hurry that I got to make a right on a red, so if we have them, fine. If it doesn't have them, fine. But it does allow the traffic to move. And in Jersey City, you need the traffic to move. I never really had an issue because I'm always aware of that A-pillar now. You know, I got a 1994 Oldsmobile Cutlass. It has a very small A-pillar. You can't hide behind that one. When you look at the old cars, and we didn't have the crumble zones, that's what those big wide A-pillars are there for. That was not a problem. You make the left, you could see the people in the crosswalk. These big A-pillars, that's a problem. You think you cleared it, and your eyes go a little off to the right or basically straight, and that's when you're hitting these people. But it's a two-way street. and no pun intended. The person crossing in the crosswalk, they've got to pay attention. You just can't. And you see it all the time. People just walk out there like they're Iron Man. Oh, their head's in the phone and they're just walking out there. Just because you're in a crosswalk doesn't mean like you're Iron Man. You've got to be aware of what you're doing when you're crossing there. But they're saying one of the problems are you make the left at higher speeds. I don't know about higher speeds, and I'm not sure about this is their statistics I'm reading in wider turn. The left turns are often taken at higher speeds with wider angles, increasing the risk to people in the crosswalk. I don't know if I'm taking it faster than I take a right-hand turn. Lack of visibility, and this is what I'm talking about, and this is one of their concerns. The vehicles have increasingly large A-pillars that block visibility for left turn. That's what I was talking about a few weeks back. So as you're making that left turn, sometimes you got to peek around that A-pillar. I know I do it now, especially with the newer cars. My little Chevys, they have really wide A-pillars because they're small cars with the crumple zone. But yeah, it is amazingly more higher percentage of left turn pedestrian accidents as opposed to right-hand turn. And actually, I think I would guess, and I would have said the right-hand turn was more dangerous. But again, it doesn't absolve the pedestrian and crosswalk. It's dangerous being in the street. You got to look two ways before you go across. And if you see a car, you may want to step back. Now, we're all supposed to stop, but someone's in a crosswalk. But if you're not seen, then they can't stop. But if you're a pedestrian, you see that car coming, you may want to take a step back. All right, let's take our last commercial break. You're listening to The City Show. I'll be right back.
Pinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
We're back. Thank you. We're back. You're listening to the City Show here on GGR. I'm Pat O'Melia. We got about 5 minutes of show left. I should have brought this up closer to the top of the notes here. Our Hudson County Sheriff Frank has endorsed. First off, he switched over to the GOP. He's now a Republican, and he's also endorsed Jack Citarelli for governor. Frank's political career and sheriff career is coming to an end in January. The reason for him going to the GOP makes no sense to me. Will it be any boost to Jack Citarelli? No. Yeah, I know there's a problem ran with Fulop's ticket in the Democrats, and right now there's a lot of a political war going on here in Hudson County between really North Hudson and South Hudson. All these guys will get back together. I've been covering the county government in Hudson County almost 30 years now. I've seen these wars break out. I've seen the fighting, the infighting, but eventually they all get back together. And they're all a happy group until there's another problem. Somebody wants more power. It always comes down to power. It happened in 2007. Was it 2014 or 16 where Amy DeGeese became the chair when Stack and Fulop made an ill attempt at taking over? The ill attempt was Fulop being truthful, telling people what their plans were. And that's sort of the problem. And in 2007, Brian Stack ran an opposing ticket against the HCDO. He wanted to become the state senator. He did, and the rest of his ticket lost. But there's always that battle. Actually, the battles always seem to have Brian Stack involved. But they always eventually get back together. Where is Franco now? Hudson County, and this is your backyard. He's a resident of Secaucus. You just turn your back on the HCDO and the Democrats here in Hudson County. Now, someday there might actually be a real Republican Party in Hudson County, but that someday ain't today. So I don't even know what the hell Frank was thinking about switching to GOP. It's his decision, but I don't know long term how well that's going to be. And before I go to that, I want to talk about we touched base on this last week, but we didn't go too forward. The demise of Central Avenue. It is really depressing riding down Central Avenue to see some of the stores like DD's is gone now. Rainbow is available for lease. C.H. Martin is gone. It's incredible that there is not a real anchor store on Central Avenue. There is no, I got to go to this, no go-to store on Central Avenue. What was the go-to, what would create foot traffic on Central Avenue was the parking authority and parking enforcement, which, of course, we took off Central Avenue. We don't want any foot traffic on Central, and we moved that down to MLK Drive. That's one of the real faults of our present council person in Ward D. That should have never happened. But we allowed it to happen. And that was the real generator of foot traffic. Now, what the avenue is becoming is weed dispensaries, cell phone stores, more weed dispensaries. I'll tell you, all these weed stores and smoke shops on Central ain't going to work. If I put 8 McDonald's on Central Avenue, they're not all going to be successful. And not all will be successful here either. We lost control of the weed dispensaries here in Jersey City. We certainly don't need that many on Central. And then we got them going down Congress Street. But it's really a shame. The only thing, you got pharmacies and sneaker stores on Central Avenue. You have, restaurant-wise, the Central Bistro, that's been there for about 4 or 5 years now. Tommy's has been there a long time. And after that, it's just a rotation of restaurants, different awnings. Whoever does the awnings is making money on Central Avenue because those stores don't stay there too long. Some of them just get the awning and never open up. But it's really a shame. And another thing that hurt Central was putting the senior center in the space of the old parking authority so we can have all these senior buses just clogging up Central Avenue as they're loading up. And again, two bad knees. I didn't know how slow they move. But everything we did with parking enforcement was a mistake. From moving it to moving the seniors there, we should let the seniors on Patterson Street there. What we ought to do is, the aforementioned Brian Stack, his shopping center on Summit Avenue, it seems to flourish. Bergen Avenue, it seems to flourish. You get Bergen Line Avenue, going into West New York and North Bergen, seems to flourish. They got some big name stores there. What are we doing wrong on Central? What are we doing wrong everywhere in Jersey City as far as shopping districts? Newark Avenue isn't what it was. It's not even a shadow of itself. None of them are. So that's something we should really look into, especially when we talk about food deserts. And we should probably look into improving retail on Central Avenue and some of the other major drags, like even Martin Luther King. We should concentrate on that also. All right, I'm out of show. You be good. You be safe. I'll talk to you next week. Good night.